morning, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, as we know, there's now an active case, but what I can say is what I said yesterday, that it's always extremely disappointing when these things happen. It does show, I think, our systems are working here, and I won't go back over my answer yesterday in terms of the pre-games target testing that there was, which was very comprehensive, more comprehensive than any previous games, and as I say, Russian athletes heavily targeted in that pre-games testing. In terms of what impact that will have in the closing ceremony, the behaviour of the team in general and other aspects will be taken into account by the IOC through the invitation group, which is led by IOC member Nicola Hurwitz, and they will look at whether the spirit as well as the letter of the law has been observed, and they will make a recommendation to the executive board here on the 24th of February, and there will be an announcement shortly after. So I wouldn't want to preempt that. They're looking at the games and the pre-games, the whole period, but particularly the games period in total, to see whether the spirit and letter of the law has been observed. So I wouldn't want to preempt that at this stage.
Patrick with Hearst Television for Timo. You've worked in many Olympics. What do you?
I wouldn't know about that, Jens. It sounds very interesting, but if there are, I think, as I remember, I read a report in the Russian newspapers that the athlete himself had said that. May be wrong. If there's evidence of that, if there's a claim of that, and if there's evidence of that, then obviously they should bring it to CAS, and that's the correct place for that to take place. Any questions you want? Oh, yeah, sorry, Ben, down there. I don't think so. I mean, I think we've discussed many times why we had to go through this process, that we wanted to make sure that individual athletes, many of whom, 3/4 of whom have never taken part in the Olympic Games, should have a chance to show that they're clean and to compete. There has to be a process, and you guys would hold us to account if there wasn't a proper process. And obviously the end of that process is to look at the comportment of the team, the athletes, throughout the Games. That can only happen towards the end of the Games. My view is that in no way will that affect the closing ceremony. The closing ceremony will be as spectacular and as touching as the opening ceremony.
Mr. Song tomorrow, right?
I don't know who's coming.